this whole conference we're focused on growth. And we know bringing the same people to the table is going to equal the same outcomes. So we're trying to bring a new type of marketer to the forefront. And I think over the last 10 to 20 years, marketing has been seen a little bit more like as a service organization, or kind of run as a little bit more like a P&L or cost center. And the shift has occurred, especially within IBM, where we're becoming more of a client-centric organization. And who has the best client-centric data, who knows the audience the best, and actually can use that information to drive business forward? It's marketing. So we're starting to see marketing emerge in the business, which is giving us a bigger, more unique and interesting role to play in everything from product development to impacting business end to end. And this, I think, is some of the things that intrigued people coming out of school that maybe didn't choose marketing in the past, where they just didn't want to advertise things. They wanted to impact more things. They wanted to build things. They were more of the maker culture. And so we're in this stage now where marketing has to reach out to find new skills, as well as train the existing talent we have. It all starts with a foundation, though, of beliefs. If people don't believe and they're not bought into your mission and core values of who you are and what you do, it doesn't go anywhere. And then you market those beliefs to the world. And IBM has always stood for trust and transparency and openness. And those type of things are more interesting and attractive to the Gen Z audience these days, as we saw in the research. So people want to be part of something that does business for good and also helps grow business. And so that's our mission and what we're trying to do. We can either train some of our creative people to be more performance driven, which we are, or we could find maybe some people who are traditionally wouldn't go into marketing, like engineers and these other kind of degrees in school, and train them to use their creative muscles in a different way. In the end, what marketing is, it's problem solving. A brief is a mission to go solve a problem for a client through creative advertising campaigns. There's a lot of other people and professions out there solving problems. We talked about engineers, we talked scientists, all these other people who are great at problem solving. There's no reason why they can't transfer those skills and become great marketers as well. So we're trying to bring the sexy back to marketing, trying to show the flair in which it has. And the ANA just announced a campaign where they're actually bringing this to the market to show not just maybe the ads or the work, but then the coolness behind the work that a marketer got to do. A marketer got to build these amazing experiential things that maybe you couldn't do anywhere else. And I think that's something that should be attractive to the next generation of marketers. When I started here 3 years ago, there was no content discipline at IBM. Content was kind of happened all over the place, right? And so we brought it together and built some standards and best practices and put standardized rules and content in IBM, and then formalized our relationships with the marketplace. Where we're at now is we develop about 60% internally ourselves with our own team and about 40% with agencies or production companies. That evolution, so speaking of talent, we had to figure out what are the right roles and staff that we have in-house versus externally. And I think the marketplace has shifted where maybe in the past people said the best talent wouldn't work inside of a brand. We're not finding that to be true anymore. Great creative talent wants to work on great creative work, right? And a brand is a great place to do that. The next thing we did was, so it had to start first with having great content. If you don't have great content and great creators, then you'll never end up doing anything and driving any impact. Then we had to work on creating a content journey with real KPIs against it. What we did, we actually rolled this out across 22 countries last year. We had to go to each country and sit down with our performance marketers and product marketers and the content team and show from product to content to performance, what is the journey of an experience for an audience, the role content plays across, and the KPIs. And for us, we try to make our KPIs the things that are harder to buy. And for that, it's engagement. So what type of engagements matter more at the top of the funnel, the middle funnel, and the bottom of the funnel? So in the end, it's all about engagement. It's just sometimes an engagement can mean a share all the way down to a buy. We define engagement differently depending on the type of asset and where it's used in the journey. So for example, an engagement for a video in the beginning of a journey is different than an engagement for, let's say, an article in the beginning of the journey. So we had to create a defined taxonomy, because in the end, without a defined taxonomy, you couldn't measure apples to apples and then define KPIs by each type. So what I have to give you, we have about 37 different values for what engagement is, then buyer types and buyer phases. But when you map it out on one nice table, it gives marketers at least a map to say, all right, I need to reach an audience in this phase, I'm going to use a video, what should I hold accountable for, and then how do I tailor that creative to do that? That goes back then to talent and training. What we're doing is mapping our training to each one of those boxes. So if you want to learn how to make a video that works well in acquisition, often in the B2B world that's more like a webinar, what are the best practices and standards in order to do that? So the answer is it's complex, but that's because we live in a world that's complex.